Here's Steph Curry with the ball. And here's Dylan Dynasty Brooks. As Draymond sets the screen for Curry, number 30 goes behind the back, then goes right. When Brooks eventually recovered on defense, Curry completely crossed him up before making him fly like an eagle, then hitting his fourth consecutive three-point shot, which more or less sealed the game for the Warriors. Sheesh, guys, what a play. This was beyond a regular night-night. This was madness. It's as clear as night and day right now. With the Warriors roster the way it is, the dynasty has been extended. Strength in numbers is back, and the Warriors' threat is real. Do y'all know what's insane about the 2024 Warriors? If not, check this out. Look who's on the floor right now for Golden State. Here we got Klay Thompson, CP3, Dario Saric, the Glove, and Moody. When a lineup like this is out, the offense more or less flows through the point guard, and because of his elite point guard skills, every play is orchestrated brilliantly, and the ball always finds the best available shot. JJ Redick didn't call him the master of manipulation for no reason. And while he might not be the prolific scorer he used to be, I want you guys to take a look at something. This is the box score from a game against the Houston Rockets. Are y'all seeing the plus minus that CP3 has? Ain't that the most beautiful stat you've ever seen? The truth is, Paul has historically made whatever lineup is on the floor better, and so far this season, the trend has continued. Then here's where things get crazy. Once he's tired, needs a breather, and goes to the bench, look at the next lineup. Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Corey Joseph, and Moody again. It's clear that whenever Steph is on the floor, the offense flows through him. I mean, he's the human flamethrower, the human torch, the destroyer of worlds. Like, look at this dagger three he shot that once again sealed the fate of the Sacramento Kings. The funny thing is, listen to how the Kings commentators reacted to that cold-blooded shot. The point I'm trying to make is, this year in 2024, the Warriors will always be threatening because the non-Curry minutes, which has been the kryptonite of this team for the past few years, is now going to be called the Chris Paul Show. This may be partially a joke, but let that marinate in your minds for a second, guys. Just for a second. So, I know the Warriors are dismantling teams left, right, and center, but it's that first game opening loss against the Suns that caught the attention of my eyes and should have the NBA scared. I'm dead serious, and if you don't believe me, just look at the facts. Andrew Wiggins went 0 for 3 from distance, Chris Paul went 0 for 6 from distance, Curry had an off-shooting night, Klay had an even worse off-shooting night, and so did GP2. As a team, the Warriors shot 35% from the field and 23% from three, and yet, despite shooting like hot garbage for the better part of 48 minutes, they still almost won against one of the favorites to come out of the West. Is that crazy or what? Like, their worst performance was almost enough to beat out a true contending team. I mean, if I had to speak the truth, this is probably as bad as it's going to get when it comes to shooting for the Warriors, and had they just had a regular bad shooting night instead of a dismal shooting night, they would have scored north of 120 points and completely blew the game out of the water. Once they settle down a bit into the season, get the rotations down and the rhythm set, all hell is going to break loose. And this leads directly to my next point. I spoke earlier about how the Warriors are going to have constant offense because of Curry and Paul, but if I left it at that, I would be doing the team a huge disservice. So, I'm going to say this here and now. The reason why the Warriors' threat is real this year is because of how deep they are. Like, first off, going back to the preseason really quick, did you all know that Jonathan Kuminga almost led the entire league in scoring? Yeah, I know the preseason is just the preseason, but Kuminga was right smack in the middle between Desmond Bane and Tyler Hero when it came to the top scorers during this period of time. Then, when it comes to the regular season, he's not disappointing either. Like, look at this veteran type of play here where he got in deep against a smaller defender. Then, with one dribble, with one power move, and no wasted movements, he easily willed his way to the basket for the soft lay-in. He's an entirely different player this season and is now another problem that teams have to solve. And it's not just him either. Moses Moody is now also in his third year, and from just watching him so far, it's clear that he's also grown leaps and bounds. Like, look at this play here. Look at the way he navigates around the screen to pull up for a mid-range in the key. He's calm, he's collective, and he's like the Warriors' version of Keegan Murray, a very reliable young player who does all the right things. Deep, guys, deep. And what's scary is that I haven't even mentioned the likes of Dario Saric, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Game 6 Clay, etc., etc., etc. You know, most quote-unquote juggernauts out there, like the newly formed Bucks and Celtics, may have a formidable starting five, but they're really thin, like thin ice. For a prime example, we'll look at the Bucks. So far from what we've seen, if Lillard and Giannis don't have monster games, the scoring isn't really going to come from anywhere else. I mean, an off-shooting night from Dame time, and they lose to the Hawks, for Pete's sake. Here's another example, and we'll use the Phoenix Suns for this one. There's going to be periods of time where lineups like this are on the floor. Watanabe, Goodwin, Grayson Allen, Eubanks, Gordon. They're all good role players, don't get me wrong, but come on. These are the types of lineups where coaches in the league have to hold their breath and pray. These are the non-Curry types of lineups that the Warriors have had to deal with in recent years, and we all know how that story goes, right? Top-heavy is what many of these teams have become, and although there's nothing wrong with that, the truth is the Warriors are not only top-heavy with their starting five, but their bench unit is arguably just as potent. I mean, from what I've seen so far, they got the number one bench in the league. And this is what's going to make them so lethal. An 82-game regular season is a long marathon, and if the top-heavy teams have to rely on their starting five, they're going to wear themselves out. Like the Lakers, for example. Just the other day against the Kings, AD played 42 minutes, LeBron played 39 minutes, and they still lost. The Warriors, on the other hand, well, just take a look. 31 minutes by Curry, 29 by Clay, 28 by Wiggins. That's cruise control, guys. Cruise control. The Warriors are going to be fresh when the playoffs arrive. Then the cherry on top is that there's still so much development for the Warriors to go through. Chemistry still needs to be built with CP3 and Kuminga, for example. Once these two figure out how to play a bit of a two-man game, that's going to be another dimension of offense that the Warriors are going to have. Then there's also the development of Trace Jackson-Davis. At 6'10" and 250 pounds, he's arguably the missing link for the Warriors to battle some of the bigger centers in the league. Small adjustments after small adjustments. Once these developments are 100% completed after the 82-game regular season, the NBA is going to find out that the Warriors' threat is real.